Good evening and welcome everyone to the final round of the Excite Virtual Motorsports Formula 3 Championship, sponsored by Sim-Lab.eu. My name is Sebastian Gerhardt, and thanks for joining me for this, I think, very interesting race, or these two races we are to expect. Sorry for mixing up some English currently. Why interesting? Because the championship is as close as it can be, and that's what we will take a look on right now. Matt Powney is in the lead with 1,042 points, just 2 points ahead of Cliff van der Veen. Cliff van der Veen, the long-time leader in the championship, dropped back a few races ago, and now he's in second. Climbed up a little bit because of his second and fourth position in the two races in Portimao. So he got closer to Matt Powney again, who finished in fourth and seventh. And it will be down to, well, maybe one single position in these two races this evening. Who will become champion and who might finish second. Or maybe these two drivers get into problems, and then it's time for Dan Blake or Morten Wells, because these two guys in third and fourth, 978 points, and Morten Wells 972. So they could make it if something goes wrong entirely for Matt Powney and Cliff van der Veen. Then probably we will have someone else on the top of the podium. It's 4 drivers that still have a chance to win this championship. Thorsten Berger, maybe theoretically he can also still take the title, but I don't think this will work out. He's in 5th with 912 points, and then there's a big gap down to Nikos Papamikael with 788. He's 28 points ahead of Brian Larson, so this will be a close one as well. Antonis Papagenopoulos, 753 points, and he's 61 points ahead of Chris Bourne. Sandro Zara in 10th position. He's completing the top 10 currently. And of course there are some more drivers in this field. Rick Fowler in 11th with 574 points. And, well, Rick Fowler, he is, as found out, he is in hospital currently because he had an operation. Don't know exactly what happened there, but hopefully he will get well as quick as possible. I think he's watching us maybe from out of the hospital from a laptop or so on. So hang on, Rick, and get well soon. Darius Seabright, I think he has a chance to get up, maybe even in the top 10 from 12th position, 562 points. Then it's Gavin Utley, and for some reason, for reasons unknown, Gavin Utley is in the top 20 2 times, in 13th and 14th. I think the 538 points are correct. Mike Tanti behind him with 524, only 4 points ahead of Martin Ash. But I'm not sure if Martin Ash will be here tonight. Nick Curry in 17th with 482. Then it's Dimitar Yanev with 440. John Loden in 19th, 384 points. And even he is still fighting for position because he's only 2 points ahead of Chris Wilson. This is the complete top 20 for this final round. There you can see like live track draw on September 20th. That's of course over already, and the final track is the Blackwood GP track in the reversed version. The Blackwood GP is a fictional track from the simulation Live for Speed, and was transferred to Assetto Corsa, and we are racing on the long version, but in the opposite direction. Very interesting track. not that many corners, but tricky ones. And we are with Darren Boulton on the straight, on the start-finish line and getting down to the first few corners. So let's take a ride with Darren Boulton. Now long left-hander going upwards a little bit. And this one is a tricky one because he has to be careful not to hit the tire. Yeah, it's not a barrier, it's just like some tires, but I don't think you can push them aside. So if you hit them, you're out of the race. And this is the long back straight. I think we will see some slipstream fights between the drivers. Going up to 6th gear. There's a fixed setup, so they don't have a chance to change something with the gearbox, but it works out very well. Just shortly before it revs out, you are coming up to the final chicane, and that was a quite strange mistake by Darren Boulton on his way into the pits. We're still in the practice, 7 minutes to go. So I think we started a little bit later, because actually we should start with the qualification at 8:45. Maybe we will switch to this session in 3 minutes. Otherwise we, well, have a bit longer practice session. 12 drivers set lap time. I think that's Dan Blake waiting in the pits. And there's our TV car, which of course will stay in the pits. I do have my steering wheel here, but I have no intention to join the race, because it would be quite hard to commentate on a race if I'm just following these guys in one of the cars. Matt Powney with the second fastest lap in the practice, and that's very important to be as quick as possible, because he has to stay in front of Cliff Van de Veen. And speaking of which, Cliff Van de Veen still not on the server, if I'm not mistaken. I heard he might not be able to join us tonight, but I'm not sure, so I don't want to tell you something that might be not true. So I really hope that Cliff Van de Veen will join us, because that's what we are looking for, to have a very interesting fight for the championship. If Van de Veen doesn't show up, it should be very easy for Matt Powney to take the title. He actually only has to finish in like the first few positions in the race. Gavin Utley moves up to 3rd. And looks like quite close between Powney, Utley and Blake. Just 84 thousandths of a second. Then a bigger gap to Chris Bourne. Sandro Zara in 6th, and then again 1.5 tenths of a second to this man, Thorsten Berger, the German driver, heading down the long back straight and coming up to the chicane. It's a tough one, because if you brake too late, you usually slide out of the corner and hit the wall, and then you're usually done, because it's hard to recover with a car if you slam it into a wall that hard. Oh, before I forget, of course, my apologies for not streaming the last round from Portimao. I wasn't at home. and couldn't find a replacement, and I was not at home and sick as well, so even if I would have stayed at home, I wouldn't have been able to do the commentary, because I was really feeling very, very bad. Everything's fine by now, but that's the reason why I couldn't stream the last round from Portimao, but I got the results from the 2 races, and this is mostly as an explanation for where the drivers are in the championship, so I'll keep you informed from time to time. Thorsten Berger still looking to get a bit faster. There's a very, very big gap down to Petkowski and then John Loden. Someone was talking about having trouble to get a feeling for these cars after trying or testing Project Cars 2, which the highly anticipated simulation that was released today, and for some people obviously a highly disappointing release, because currently looks like the multiplayer isn't working at all, which is maybe the worst thing to happen for a racing simulation on its release day. But maybe they will fix that in the next few days, and that gets our Formula 3 championship drivers maybe from putting the new simulation aside and come back to Assetto Corsa and show us 2 hopefully very exciting races, short races, of course, 15 laps, which isn't that much on a quite short track like Blackwood GP. So who's there in front of Thorsten Berger? Oh, that's not Nikos Papamikael. He's in the black car in the back. I think that's oh, where is he? Is it Gavin Utley? Yes, Gavin Utley, the man who's you can find 2 times in the top 20 for unknown reasons. And Dan Blake with the new fastest lap, 1:10.418. 80 thousandths of a second faster than Morten Wells, who already showed a quite good performance in Portimao. Finished in 6th and 5th in the 2 races 2 weeks ago. That started off in this championship more or less like a top 10 driver, but more in the second half of the top 10 positions, and now he's looking very, very good in the final stages of the championship, and that's what got him into 4th position, and he will have a close fight with Dan Blake, hopefully fighting for, I think, 2nd place in the championship, because actually Cliff van der Wien really doesn't seem to join us with the final round tonight. And we are done with the practice session, coming up to the qualifying 15 minutes qualification. And I'm very interested in Matt Powney. Powney might be able to close the gap in the qualification against Morten Wells and Dan Blake. We have to wait for a few seconds until we can switch the camera and switch to the other drivers. So with 15 minutes qualification, they might have about 10 laps to set their fastest lap time. And off we go. So as you can see, some of the drivers are starting behind the pits. It's a bit crazy on this track. Some cars are in the pit lane, some cars are behind the garages. So some of the drivers didn't actually know where to go when they started first. I think it was not sure who was it who was a little bit confused during the talking in Discord. So most of the drivers are, of course, with the others with their headset, talking about what's going on. And I think it was, sorry for switching through here, I think it was Nikos Paparinopoulos who almost drove in the wrong way in the pits because he didn't know where to go. Everything got explained very quickly, and Paparinopoulos is out on the track in the right direction. I think there's Nikos Papamikael behind him, and Antonis Paparinopoulos on his way on his first timed lap. Very beautiful paint job on his car. The last time we will see it, at least in the Formula 3 Championship. Probably he will use it in the future on some other cars. There's also a Formula Masters on R-Factor 2 currently going on. And Excite Virtual Motorsports. So maybe after finishing the Formula 3 Championship he will change the simulation and switch over to R-Factor 2, or maybe there will be something entirely different. Paparinopoulos coming up to the chicane. Slow right-hander and then just braking down into this sharp left turn into the hairpin, and then it's flat out through these slide corners up to the start-finish line, and Paparinopoulos 1:11.155. That's well, not the quickest from all of them, and then Blake already with a very, very good lap time up on pole position, or at least for the first few minutes in this qualification. This qualifying run, Utley stopped his car somewhere alongside the track. Nikos Papamikael looks like he had some sort of a mistake in 8th position, but there's still 4 drivers missing in the qualifying currently. So let's see, it's Chris Bourne, he's in 5th at the moment. Then there's our TV car. All of the drivers are out on track, so they just didn't set a lap time, so they are not. We can't see them in our overview on the left side of the screen. Dan Blake again with his next lap time, but he's almost 9/10 of a second slower. So no improvement by Dan Blake, but there is an improvement by Nikos Papamikael, moving up to 5th. Matt Powney in 2nd now, chased by Martin Wells. Only 11 thousandths of a second difference between Wells and Powney. So there's definitely a chance for Martin Wells moving up into the first row in the starting grid for the first race, of course. Second race, they will start with switched starting positions, so who comes first in race number 1 will start from last position in race number 2, and the other way around. So even if you kind of get lapped 2 or 3 times and make a lot of mistakes, you still have a chance to start from pole position in race number 2. Matt Powney parked his car somewhere. Wells still going for it. And can he beat his own lap time? No, he can't. Stays way behind. Blake with another improvement on his lap time, so it's almost 0.3 of a second for Powney up to the pole position. Petkowski in 8th, but John Loden with his first lap time moving up to 7th. Gavin Utley improving up to 6th with a 1:11.3. Thorsten Berger now moving up to 7th. So now we are seeing some proper lap times. Sandro Zara on his first timed lap up in 9th place. 1.2 seconds behind Dan Blake. But still 9 minutes to go. So probably 6 or even 7 more laps for the drivers to set a better lap time, and especially trying to beat Dan Blake on pole. Petkowski parked his car somewhere. And Papagiannopoulos in the pits currently. Nikos Papamikael up to 2nd. Ahead now of Matt Powney and Martin Wells. Gavin Utley also moving up into 5th. Getting closer to that 1:11 mark on the timetable. Sandro Zara with a new improvement up to 8th. Ahead of Chris Bourne now and John Loden, as well as Petkowski. And there's still a 12th driver missing. And I wonder who it is. If any one of you watching has an idea, just write it down in the YouTube chat, please. So if someone has some new information about any of the drivers who are not with us tonight, I usually can't get all the information that's out there. So if someone else knows more than I do, be my guest and write it down in the YouTube chat so everyone get the information right. Here we are. Darren Boulton with his first time lap up to 11th ahead of Petkowski, and then it's Martin Ash who joined us in time to also take part in this final round of the Sim-Lab.eu Formula 3 Championship. And there he is, Martin Ash. It still tries to get a feeling for the track, as it looks like, because Darren Boulton is setting some pressure on him, is putting some pressure on him during the qualifying, while Papagiannopoulos is moved up to 2nd and got closer to Dan Blake, only 1/10 of a second. Gavin Utley for some reason left the server. Now he's back, but of course he has to set a new lap time. There he is. Assetto Corsa remembered his fastest lap, so he is back in 6th position for the starting grid for race number 1. And we have a new pole setter, that's Matt Powney. Matt Powney finally moving up into pole position ahead of Dan Blake, but only 19 thousandths of a second. So this isn't over by now. Dan Blake just passing slow driving Matt Powney. And he might get some slipstream from, I think that's Thorsten Berger. The black and red car of the German driver. Berger a little bit too far ahead of Dan Blake. I don't think this will work out. Getting on board with Blake. Some slight drifting onto the back straight. Oh, and he's slowing down, so there won't be a new fastest lap by him right now. Hopefully he won't show us how it looks like if you crash into the wall. He wants everyone else to pass him, not to getting in the way of the other drivers setting their next lap time. Oh, and there's another one. And he stopped the car. That was Petkowski. While Nikos Papamikael moves up to 3rd. Ahead of his Greek colleague Papainopoulos. And Arnold Petkowski in 12th position currently. He had some improvements over the last 10 minutes, but still behind John Loden for about 0.7 of a second, which actually is a lot. Martin Ash looks like he couldn't get a grip on this track. Maybe joined us very on a bit spontaneously, so no time for practice, just jumping into the car onto the track, and that's why Martin Ash is so far behind all of the other drivers in this qualifying run. He will start from last position if he doesn't go out on the track anymore. So maybe studying some of the racing lines of the other drivers in front of him and use that as an advantage for the second race. Arnold Petkowski, next fastest lap. I think he did some improvement on his own lap time, yes, but still missing about half a second to John Loden. And Matt Powney improved his lap time a bit more, now 0.3 of a second ahead of Dan Blake. So Powney is showing everyone that he really wants to take this championship, and not only by points but by probably winning races. Nikos Papamikael is still trying to get up into the first row of the starting grid, but already half a second behind Powney in the second sector. There's Thorsten Berger parking his car outside of the final corner. Very close field actually. Almost the entire grid is within 1 second distance, and hopefully that will cause some very exciting fighting on the track, hopefully without any incidents. We always had some trouble during the season with especially some misinterpretation with a tool called Helicorsa, so all of the drivers can see what's close around them. So they get an information if there's a car left, right, behind or in front. Well, in front should be not that much of a problem because you usually can see the car in front of you, but behind, left or right. And sometimes this tool doesn't work perfectly, so if you think there's no one next to you and then you just switch your line and move to the right, and then all of a sudden there is a car you didn't notice, and then this causes a crash. You might remember the second race in Watkins Glen where exactly this happened. Gavin Utley, in the last few seconds of this qualifying, moves up into third. Nikos Papamikael parked his car, Utley as well. There's still Antonis Papagenopoulos going for his last lap time, and he stays in fifth. Chris Bourne in sixth, also driving slowly. There's Matt Powney parking his car. Sandro Zara still going, but he's also doing slow. Darren Boulton coming out of the chicane. I think he is still going for his final lap time. And maybe he can make it, because he's just wanted to say 84 thousandths of a second behind Sandro Zara. No change in that. And we are done with this qualifying run in the final round of the Sim-Lab.eu Formula 3 Championship in 2017. Now we have to wait for about 1 minute until we are coming up with the start for race number 1 on the Blackwood GP track in reverse direction. And it will be Matt Powney starting from pole position, trying to defend his lead in the championship ahead of Antonis Papagenopoulos. Dan Blake starting from third, Gavin Utley from fourth, Nikos Papamikael from fifth. Then it's Chris Bourne, that's the car behind. Well, I think the black and green car, that should be Darren Boulton. And there's Chris Bourne, slightly floating away. And we're just waiting for getting our car in the proper way. And there's Gavin Utley. He made a mistake. He obviously shifted up and hit the clutch, and now his car rolled in down the hill. Well, better this way than in front, because otherwise he would have got a penalty and would have to do a drive-through penalty, which usually destroys your entire race if it's just that kind of a short sprint race we have here with the Formula 3 Championship. Lights are on, and when these 6 lights are turned off, we are racing for the first race tonight in the final round of the Formula 3 Championship. A lot of wheel spin from the drivers in the back because they have to drive up the hill. Matt Powney is defending the lead now ahead of Antonis Papagenopoulos. Then there's Gavin Utley in third, Nikos Papamikael in fourth. Then Blake dropped down to fifth. Morten Wells right behind him, and then there's a bigger gap. Gavin Utley losing almost the control of his car and sliding into the grass. There's Nikos Papamikael ahead of him, and then Blake also attacking Utley, and he's through up to fourth again. Morten Wells under pressure by Thorsten Berger. Thorsten Berger on the inside coming to the long back straight, and now it's a slipstream run. It's acceleration battle between the two of them, and in front of him Gavin Utley, and he's giving some slipstream for Thorsten Berger. Bad situation for Morten Wells on the right side, the blue and white car. Gavin Utley ahead of Blake. No, yeah, it's Blake, and then they are coming up to the chicane. Thorsten Berger takes 6th position in front of Morten Wells. Then Blake ahead of Utley. Nikos Papamikael in third, and Matt Powney lost the lead against Antonis Papagenopoulos. Matt Powney maybe keeping it safe, trying not to cause an accident, so he can finish in second maybe and still get enough points for taking the championship. Dan Blake with a slight mistake, and Gavin Utley doing the same. Some wheel spin on the grass, and Thorsten Berger is already there, attacking Gavin Utley from the outside. Nice move by Berger into the left-hander onto the short part coming up now to the long back straight. And Utley dropping down behind Thorsten Berger. Now under pressure by Morten Welz. Petkowski behind him. Great start, by the way, from Arnold Petkowski. Moving up into 8th from 12th position. And in the back there are Chris Bourne, that's John Loden, Darren Boulton, Sandro Zara and Martin Ash. Sandro Zara dropped down to 12th from starting from 8th place in the starting grid. So something went wrong by the Maltesian driver. Utley a lot more looking into his mirrors rather than ahead of him. Oh, slight mistake by Morten Welz, and then maybe even a chance for Petkowski taking the 7th place. Oh, already showing on the inside. Morten Welz staying ahead of Petkowski, and Chris Bourne closing in, of course, because these fights always cost them time on the track. Kevin Utley getting away from Morten Welz and closing in on Thorsten Berger. So it's an up and down on the track currently after the first few minutes in this race. Utley in the slipstream now of Thorsten Berger. Pauni, doesn't look like Pauni can follow Antonis Papagenopoulos currently. He's 1 second behind already, the Greek driver. And then Nikos Papamikael following and about 2 seconds behind Pauni. Kevin Utley through the chicane. Some lock up by Thorsten Berger through the hairpin. And Chris Bourne closing into Arnold Petkowski. John Loden behind him in 10th position. Taking a look on this battle, and Chris Bourne with a slight mistake in turn 2. We've seen this by a lot of drivers now. Coming down from through his left-hander down the hill and then shifting the weight into the right-hand corner. Does not always work that well, obviously. John Loden in the slipstream now of Chris Bourne, and now we are already on the back straight again. See Petkowski trying to defend against Chris Bourne. Kevin Utley takes the 5th place from Thorsten Berger, breaking into the chicane by John Loden, but no attacking here, and he almost loses his car. John Loden sliding into the hairpin. There's Darren Boulton behind him, but he's too far behind. No chance for Boulton to take 10th position, and he has to look in his mirrors as well, because there's Sandro Zara closing in. Was a lot quicker in the qualifying. Getting back to the drivers in front. Dan Blake behind Nikos Papamikael, looking for 3rd position. Dan Blake, of course, trying to stay in front of Morten Welz to grab the 2nd position in the championship. Without Cliff van der Wien, I think the title is clear at the moment. If Pauni stays in 2nd, everything will be fine for him. And if Dan Blake stays in 4th ahead of Morten Welz, he should easily pass Cliff van der Wien in the championship and take 2nd position. But of course they have to start from the end of the grid in race number 2. So there are a lot of situations coming up that might cause maybe even a big crash, and then somehow everything gets mixed around. Also mixed around Chris Bourne dropping down to 10th position, passed by John Loden and Petkowski as well. So Chris Bourne in trouble and under attack by Darren Boulton. Sandro Zara still in 12th following this group of drivers. Very interesting pack with Petkowski in front. 8th position. Looking over the rear wing of Petkowski, and there's Born attacking Loden. On the inside into the chicane, out of the slipstream, and Born is ahead of Loden. And now Loden took the bad line into the chicane, so Darren Booten now ahead behind him, not ahead of him. He tries to get ahead of him, and maybe he gets a chance now. Out of the slipstream over the start-finish line, takes the inside line, but there will be this short left-hander then into this right-hand turn, and Darren Booten is in front of John Loden. Takes 10th position from the man in the black and red car. Martin Ash still improving his lap times, but he's already about 9 seconds behind Sandro Zara. So it's more or less the practice run for Martin Ash. And there's a mistake by Sandro Zara going wide into the green, but he keeps the control in his car and stays in the right direction. So still going, but down for about 3 seconds to John Loden. There's Chris Bourne attacking Petkowski, and he's already in front of the driver in the green car. Petkowski trying to take back his 8th position, but Bourne defending into the chicane, and he keeps his place. Petkowski now down to 9th, but still in front of Darren Booten. Dan Blake a lot faster than Nikos Papamikael in front of him, but still in 4th. No chance for Blake to attack the Greek driver in his black car. Papamikael is still defending, but now they are coming up for the long back straight, and now Blake in the slipstream again. As I said, no change in the setup. They are driving a fixed setup. No changes on the rear front wing, so maybe the car could go faster on the straight. Maybe Blake has some slight damage on his car. That would explain why he can't close the gap to Nikos Papamikael. If you get slight damage on the car in Assetto Corsa, it always causes the loss of top speed. And as we could see, the main point for overtaking is the chicane after the long back straight. So if you can get enough top speed to attack the driver in front of you, you have to follow through all the time. But maybe Dan Blake also driving a bit carefully, not causing a crash, and getting enough points for taking 2nd place in the championship. After this first race, of course, less than 5 minutes to go, and there will be a 2nd run. Petkowski looked like he made a mistake because he dropped down to 12th behind Sandro Zara. Petkowski was in 9th position behind Chris Bourne before that, so it's actually quite sad because Petkowski did a good job until then in this first race. Started mid-season in the Formula 3 Championship and had some problems in the beginning. And it looked good so far, but now he is in 12th place, and that would mean he would start from the 1st row in the starting grid for race number 2. Dan Blake still fighting Nikos Papamikael. Gavin Utley in 5th, about 1.5 seconds behind Blake, almost 2 seconds behind now Thorsten Berger in 6th, ahead of Morten Wells. And Wells doesn't look like he has a chance to pass Berger, so a very good situation for Dan Blake currently. There's the Danish driver ahead of Chris Bourne. And the gap between Born and Bhutan is getting bigger and bigger. Almost 1.5 seconds difference now between position 8 and 9. And there is the first try from Dan Blake against Nikos Papamikael, but Papamikael defending, choosing the right line through the first 2 corners and still staying in third. But there's a lot of pressure by Dan Blake, slight mistake by Papamikael, and that's what Blake is waiting for. He's increasing the pressure on the Greek driver, and now they're coming up for the long back straight again. Dan Blake in the slipstream. Papamikael switching to the inside line to get Blake out of his mirrors, but that doesn't work. And Dan Blake attacking Nikos Papamikael, going for third position. They're coming up to the chicane. I think Blake is already in front. Oh, they alongside, and Papamikael, he has to step back. Yeah, then Blake now in third, taking a very good line through the hairpin, and he is moving up to the podium for race number 1. Only less than 2 minutes to go. 2 more laps for this first race. And Gavin Utley got closer because of the fight between Blake and Papamikael, but I don't think Utley will have a chance to take to actually profit from this situation. But still would be 5th place in race number 1, so definitely not a bad result. Given Utley didn't finish the first race in Portimao and finished 14th in the second one, so this is definitely improvement. Oh, and John Loden in trouble, and he's in the wall. John Loden with a big mistake into the gravel and then into the wall, and he's trying to find his way back on the track. So where did this happen? And Petkowski didn't see John Loden coming out of the corner on the back straight, and he hits him as well. Petkowski crashes into Loden, goes back up to 12th again, and those big mistakes by Petkowski and Loden caused Martin Ash coming up to 11th place. So he will start in the second row of the starting grid if he finishes in this position, and I don't think that Petkowski or Loden will have a chance to take 11th place back from Ash. Paprinopoulos in the lead for the last time on the back straight in this first race. Matt Powney doesn't stand a chance against the Greek driver. Very, very good job by Antonis Paprinopoulos. After finishing in 8th and 2nd in Portimao, again a very, very good result for him. He takes the win in race number 1 tonight on Blackwood GP of the Sim-Lab.eu Formula 3 Championship. In second, Powney, and he is now definitely going for the championship. If nothing goes wrong in the final race, he should grab the title. Dan Blake in third, very, very important position for him because he's ahead of Morten Wels. Nikos Papamikael in fourth, fifth for Gavin Utley, in sixth Thorsten Berger. Wels already parked his car in 7th, Chris Bourne in 8th. Then it's Boulton in 9th, some slight touching. Chris Bourne acting like Vettel, and there's Sandro Zara just driving through these two guys. That was a nice move. Just like waving his hands, come on guys, take it easy. Martin Ash in 11th, then it's Arnold Petkowski in 12th and John Loden in 13th. And these are all the drivers, so no big crashes that caused any of the drivers to stop their cars early in the race. And that means Loden starting from pole in the final race. So we have to wait again a few minutes until we will switch to right to the start for race number 2. It usually is done within a few seconds. So there's the car of the winner, and Matt Powney, who finished in second, right behind him on the opposite side of the garages. In this very interesting track, Blackwood GP. Now we just have to wait until the server switches to race number 2. Standing start again, and that would mean Loden in front, Petkowski, Ash, Zara, Boulton, Bourne. These are the 6 drivers in the first 3 starting rows. Well, that will cause some very interesting fighting in the beginning of the race. I think Powney will take it easy at the start, just trying to avoid any trouble, as well as Dan Blake. But Blake has to go for Morten Wells, getting ahead of him, if he doesn't want to lose second place in the championship. So here we are. Again, there's 1 minute waiting time for us. And then for the last time in the Formula 3 Championship, hosted by Excite Virtual Motorsports, these guys will be racing. There's no information if we will see a second season with these cars and with this kind of concept behind the series. Just have to wait what the other drivers are saying, because we started with about 20 drivers into the championship, and tonight it's only 13 drivers, so we lost some contenders, but that's quite usual over the time in rather small racing series. There are always some drivers that can't join us tonight. If some of them don't want to, some of them can't. And we are waiting for the race start. The last 15 minutes in the Sim-Lab.eu Formula 3 Championship are about to start. The 6 lights are going on, and when they are off, we are racing for the final time in this final round of the Formula 3 Championship. And there's an early start, jump start by Boulton. Darren Boulton on the throttle too early. John Loden defending against Petkowski. Chris Bourne already in third. Then he's hitting Petkowski. Sandro Zara has to go slow, and Morten Wells already in seventh, fighting against Ash and Berger. Ash staying on the outside, the silver and red car. Nikos Papamikael behind him. Berger is fighting, and Berger stays in eighth. Behind him, that's Papamikael. No, it's Papagiannopoulos. And Martin Ash dropping down to 8th, already losing a lot of positions. Gavin Utley in 10th behind, defending against Papagiannopoulos. Some slight touching, and Papagiannopoulos losing it, crashing into Gavin Utley. And the winner of race number 1 almost taken out. A big shunt into the wall of Papagiannopoulos, and his car is definitely broken. Yeah, You can see the steering wheel is pointing almost 90 degrees to the right, and and he's driving in a straight line. So he will definitely be in the pits. Hopefully he will still go driving or finishing the race. Darren Boulton, of course, in the pits because of his jump start, and Martin Wells already in third, now ahead of Petkowski. John Loden still leading, or Petkowski trying to get the second position back, and Chris Bourne behind him. Then there's Nikos Papamikael, Sandro Zara in sixth, then Blake only in ninth, and Matt Powney only in 10th. These two guys are going very, very careful. Sandro Zara dropping down to 7th. Chris Bourne in 6th now. Under attack by Thorsten Berger, and the German driver passes him on the outside. Already ahead of him. Atle in the pits, as well as Papagenopoulos. Yeah, Papagenopoulos, we expected that one because of his crashed car. And obviously, Gavin Atle also had some damage from crashing into Papagenopoulos. Boulton already back on track. 8 seconds behind Powney. And there's Powney attacking Martin Ash. Then Blake in front, fighting against Sandro Zara, and Powney, who's finished in 2nd place in race number 1, now carefully trying to make his way up in the field. Chris Bourne fighting against Thorsten Berger, taking back 5th position. And Petkowski still doing a very good job, but now he hit Nikos Papamikael. Petkowski slammed into, and he's stuck in the wall. Arnold Petkowski out of the race. No, he just let his car kind of towed into the pits, and he can join the race very, very quickly. That's a bit surprising. Usually you get a 20-second penalty for that. He didn't. He's already out on the track, and Berger in problems, and he's getting back, defending against Powney, and the championship leader got hit by Thorsten Berger. What's going on, guys? Take it easy. Thorsten Berger in the wall, and there's something, there's some problem with the German driver. He's out of the race. Thorsten Berger looks like he's not coming back, and in the final race this evening and in this championship, he won't see the checkered flag. Martin Wells in 2nd, but only 3 positions now ahead of Dan Blake. Good job by Blake moving up to 5th, and still keeping his chances to take 2nd place in the championship. Chris Bourne fighting Nikos Papamikael. And there's Dan Blake in the back. Martin Ash still in 6th. So he dropped down almost out of the top 10, and because of all the trouble the other drivers had, he moved up to 6th again. But Sandro Zara now ahead of him, the Maltesian driver, taking 6th position from Martin Ash. And then it's about 4 seconds down to Darren Boulton, who's already back in 8th after his drive-through penalty. So speaking of keeping on the track and trying to finish the race, I guess after his jump start he thought he would be in the last position. But he was definitely wrong. I'm afraid Matt Powney will have some damage on his car, but 9th position would be enough to take the title tonight after this final race. Martin Wells getting closer to John Loden. It's not that much of a surprise because Loden finished in last position in race number 1. Martin Wells, otherwise, on the other hand, finished in 7th. So he should definitely be a bit quicker than John Loden. And what good exit out of the corner on to the back straight. And I think that would be an easy job for Martin Wells to take the lead in race number 2. John Loden still moving a bit to the middle of the track, but no way to defend against Martin Wells. They're now hard on the brakes into the chicane. And the Danish driver takes the lead from John Loden. Behind them, that's Nikos Papamikael and Chris Bourne. Bourne Drop down about 1 second behind the Greek driver. Dan Blake closing in. And there's a 6-second gap to Sandro Zara, who's getting away from Martin Ash. And maybe Darren Boulton will have a chance to get closer to Ash. Kind of trying to get away from Matt Powney. And there's Petkowski in 10th. I don't think that Nikos Papamikael somehow made a mistake when he collided with Petkowski. It just got too close before the first corner. Maybe again it was some problem with the Hilly Corsa. I had some very interesting discussions about 2 months ago on Facebook about that, because I don't like tools like this. But that's something to talk about another time. Nikos Papamikael made a mistake and dropped down to 5th. So Chris Bourne in 3rd now and Dan Blake in 4th. Just 3 positions behind Morten Wells. And I think I will have to take my calculator after this race to really figure out who is where in the championship. Of course, if nothing goes wrong, Powney will take the title. Cliff van der Wien will probably drop down to 4th position because he couldn't be here tonight. Looking back to Powney behind Boulton and Ash. Well, that's the wrong camera. I wanted that one. Let's see if Powney has some kind of damage. You usually can see it by the position of the steering wheel. That was what we could see at Antonis Papagiannopoulos' car when he crashed into the wall. But Matt Powney, the steering wheel is straightened out and his car is driving in a straight line, so no suspension damage on Matt Powney's car. Well, but also almost sliding out of the chicane, trying to get into the slipstream of Darren Boulton. Martin Ash almost losing his car. Got a bit too wide onto the curb. Oh, and Matt Powney also going wide. But now he's in the slipstream. But there's Darren Boulton attacking Martin Ash. Ash on the left side. Boulton has a bit more speed. And Powney going through. Passing Ash and Boulton. Martin Ash on the brakes very early, so Matt Powney gets through, and Boulton also was on the outside for the chicane. Matt Powney takes 2 positions up to 7th. Boulton also ahead now of Martin Ash. Well, that was an unexpected switch in positions after that one. Nice move by Matt Powney. Only about 5 minutes to go, so I don't think that Matt Powney will close in to Sandro Zara. Chris Bourne under pressure by Dan Blake. There's John Loden in front of them. Morten Wells way ahead in front, and Chris Bourne down to 4th. Dan Blake takes a podium position up to 3rd. Now behind John Loden, and there's Nikos Papamikael also closing in to Chris Bourne. Hey, this is getting close. On board with Nikos Papamikael. lot of understeer for Nikos Papamikael. Sliding a lot over the front tires. But still getting closer to Chris Bourne. Dan Blake in front is about to take second place from John Loden. Nikos Papamikael with a slight mistake. And I think there won't be a chance for him to fight against Chris Bourne now. But Dan Blake passing John Loden, and I think he will be in front of him already before the chicane. He is Dan Blake in second. And that would mean Dan Blake takes second position in the championship. As long as he doesn't make any more mistakes. Oh, Loden, some slight wheel spin out of the hairpin. And that cost him a lot of momentum over the straight. For this long straight. It's not actually a straight. It's like a long turn over the start-finish line. Bit like some of the British racetracks like Oulton Park or Brands Hatch. And there's also not a real start-finish straight. Oh, Chris Bourne with a mistake onto the long back straight, sliding onto the grass, and there's Nikos Papamikael closing in, and I think Papamikael will take fourth position from Chris Bourne. Yes, there he is. The Greek driver back and forth after a slight mistake by Chris Bourne in the last few minutes of this final race. Antonis Papagiannopoulos with the fastest lap time in 11th. The winner of race number 1, at least showing what he's made of. Of course, there's not much for him to do anymore after he was in the pits to repair his car. Dan Blake, a lot quicker than Martin Wells now, but it's the second to last lap. And even if Dan Blake might be able to drive half a second faster, it won't be enough to catch Martin Wells. Because Blake finished in third in race number 1, Wells only in 7th. That should be enough for Dan Blake to stay in front of Martin Wells and on top of that pass Cliff Van de Wien in the championship and take second position. Oh, and Gavin Utley with another problem, and he slid out of the chicane and is out of the race as well. Gavin Utley is out in the last minute of the race. Nikos Papamikael attacking Chris Bourne. They were fighting on the long back straight, and now Papamikael still tries to get back into fourth. Sandro Zara closing in with Matt Powney behind him. So all this fighting and mistakes of Papamikael and Bourne gets them closer to these two guys, but I don't think Zara and Powney will make it in time because we are in the final lap of this race. Nikos Papamikael, Matt Powney right behind Sandro Zara. They are going for 6th position. Leaders on final lap. That's what's shown to me, and Nikos Papamikael hard on the brakes in this long left-hander, and there's Sandro Zara and Powney coming up very, very quick, and maybe that's the chance for Zara and Powney as well to take a few positions. Nikos Papamikael under pressure, there's Zara and Powney. Powney going to the inside, there 3 wide coming up to the chicane. Powney, what he's doing is hard on the brakes, coming up, Sandro Zara defending, slight touching. Oh, and there's a crash. Sandro Zara hitting Matt Powney. Zara spins. Powney hits the tire barriers. And there's Martin Ash now coming. Oh, Petkowski. Matt Powney in 8th. He will still win the championship, but that was a bit too harsh by Sandro Zara. Matt Powney very optimistic into the chicane as well. Morten Wells wins this second race ahead of Dan Blake. Dan Blake makes it up to second place in the championship. Congratulations. John Loden takes the podium in his final race in third. Chris Bourne on fourth. Nikos Papamikael parked his car under the bridge in the shadow on fifth. Darren Boulton in sixth, even after a drive-through penalty. He's in sixth place, and we see some burnouts. Nice job by Boulton. And Sandro Zara hits him in the front. Martin Ash parked his car in seventh. Matt Powney takes the championship title of the Formula 3 Championship of Excite Virtual Motorsports, finishing in eighth after Arnold Petkowski in ninth, Sandro Zara in 10th, Antonis Papagiannopoulos in 11th, Gavin Utley and Thorsten Berger out of the race. And well, that's been it when it comes to racing. I hope you will stay with us for some interviews. Hopefully some of them will come to our broadcast channel. I always have to fight for them to show up, but I think Matt Powney will come to us because he is the champion of the Sim-Lab.eu Formula 3 Championship. I hope you will stay with us for a few more minutes, and I'll be back soon. Hold on tight. We are back, and there's sadly only one driver who wanted to come up to us for an interview, and it's not Matt Powney. I asked him, but well, he said something, but he didn't come to us. I don't know why, but Matt Powney is definitely the winner of this championship. But with us now, Dan Blake, who took second. Dan Blake, congratulations. It's the silver medal of the Formula 3 championship. It was a tough fight in the last 2 races, right?
Yeah, thank you very much. Just to say congratulations to Matt. First of all, he did a really good job in the championship, a thoroughly deserved winner. I've had some great racing done this year. And also Cliff as well, who wasn't able to be here tonight, but fantastic racing. And I'm absolutely delighted with second place. I came into this meeting knowing that I had a very, very outside chance of it, so I just went for it. First got two podiums, so I've had a good meeting as well. It wasn't quite enough, but I'm happy with the way the championship's gone. It's my first series of Exile. I'm definitely back for more. It's great racing, great organisation, and I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, the races today, I was just trying to get as many points as I could. I got a third and a second, almost got more. I think I had one more lap. I may have been able to make a move on Morton in that second one, but it wasn't to be. And I've had a good season. I've had a couple of wins, and yeah, I've really enjoyed myself here on Exile Virtual Motorsports, and it's been a great season.
It definitely was, and we had some very, very tough and great fighting. Yeah, you're the only one who made it on the podium 2 times tonight in this final round. So, yeah, great finish and taking the silver medal. We don't know by now if there will be if this season will be continued or if there's something else. Are you already driving somewhere else in some of the other Exiled Virtual Motorsports series that are going on currently, or are you waiting for something new on Assetto Corsa?
I haven't. I'm not actually racing in any of the other series on Exile. I've been concentrating on the Formula 3. I've really enjoyed it. It's the first time I've actually driven the Formula 3, so yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm definitely going to have a look there and see what's about. And I've got my real racing commitments as well. I've actually got a race tomorrow at Brands Hatch. I've not gone up there tonight, so I can do this race tonight. That was how important the series was to me, that I've actually put my real racing commitment on hold. And I've got to leave tomorrow to get a Brands Hatch in 4 in the morning. But when you have a night like this, it makes it all worth it.
Well, that's definitely some commitment by you. That's great to hear. So maybe I will finish this interview very quickly so you can get up early and do your racing in reality in Brands Hatch. Dan Blake, congratulations again to the 2 podium positions tonight in these 2 races, but of course especially the second place in the championship, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much. And also thank you for the broadcast this year. They've been really good to watch. It's been great. So thank you very much as well, Sebastian. And hopefully we'll see you back again for some more.
Thank you. And I hope so too. And I think with that, we finish our broadcast for tonight. Thanks to everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, even though I had some struggle with my English from time to time. And hopefully we will see us again sometime with maybe Exiled Virtual Motorsports or somewhere else. If you enjoyed it, just keep there's thumb up and maybe yeah, hit that small bell to get informed if there are other live streams going on. I think they will be on hold for some time, and I didn't talk to the more or less the boss behind all of this, Mike Tanti, who arranged all this with the live stream. So we had this broadcast for the Formula 3 Championship. Stay tuned, and otherwise have a great weekend, and see you soon. Bye.